Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn the second lesson of biology. Biological classification. In this lesson we're going to see about classification in a detailed manner. Finding more in the five kingdom. Classifying with some aids. Let's start. Biological classification. The process of grouping the organisms based on certain similarities. The purpose is to organize the vast number of known plants/animals/other creatures into categories that could be studied easily. Organisms have been classified from different points of view at different times. Biological classification was first proposed by Aristotle, who used simple morphological characters to classify animals. Phylogenetic system/cladistics. Artificial classification. Plants are classified on the basis of one or two morphological characters, i.e. overall morphology is not considered. Adopted by Pliny the Elder for animals on the basis of habitat, e.g. land, air, and water. Classification proposed by Linnaeus is artificial. Linnaeus classified plant kingdom into 24 classes on the basis of only two characters, stamens and style, in his book Genera Planetarium. In natural classification, plants belonging to the same group show many similarities, while in artificial classification, the plants belonging to the same group show only one or two similar characters. Natural classification. Plants are classified on the basis of their complete morphology: stem, root, leaves, flowers, etc. The first natural system of plant classification was proposed by Skimper, 1879, followed by Eichler, 1833. It is the best classification because it represents the interrelationship among plants. Natural classification is of two types: natural formal and natural phylogenetic. Natural formal classification, phylogeny of the plant is not considered, only the morphology of the plant is considered. Natural phylogenetic classification, both morphology and phylogeny, evolutionary property, are considered. Bentham and Hooker classification, vegetative and floral. Classification of spermatophytes/phanerogams, i.e. plants with seeds, natural formal, mainly based on the floral characters. This was very appreciable because floral characters are more stable. It is the simplest classification. Therefore, the arrangement of all plants in the botanical gardens and herbarium of the world is based on it. Phylogenetic classification. Eichler gave the first phylogenetic classification of plant kingdom. Eichler classified plant kingdom into two subkingdoms: Cryptogamia, non-flowering spores, and Phanerogamia, seed-bearing. Classified plant kingdom into 5 divisions and arranged them in the order of evolution: phylogeny, Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperm, Angiosperm. Engler and Prantl phylogenetic classification of plant kingdom. Oswald Tipo biggest phylogenetic classification. Complete classification. Kingdom system of classification. The earliest classification was done by Aristotle. He divided animals into 4 groups: Anema, with red blood cells; Anima, without red blood cells; Ovipary, egg-laying; Vivipary, giving birth to young ones. Theophrastus classified plant into trees, shrubs and herbs. 1. 2 kingdom classification. 2. 3 kingdom classification. 3. 4 kingdom classification. 4. 5 kingdom classification. 2 kingdom classification. Linnaeus classified living world into 2 Kingdom Plantae and Animalia. This system does not distinguish between eukaryotic and prokaryotic, unicellular and multicellular organisms and photosynthetic green algae, and non-photosynthetic fungi organisms. Apart from these demerits, certain organisms, which are not similar to plants and animals, cannot be kept into these two kingdoms. Three-kingdom classification. Haeckel gave the three kingdoms classification: Protista, Plantae, Animalia. Four-kingdom system. Introduced by Copeland in 1956. Kingdom Munera. It includes unicellular or filamentous prokaryotes such as bacteria, mycoplasma and cyanobacteria. Kingdom Protista. It includes unicellular eukaryotes. Kingdom Plantae. Multicellular autotrophic eukaryotes. Kingdom Animalia. Multicellular heterotrophic eukaryotes. 5 Kingdom classification. R.H. Whittaker proposed in 1969. The 5 kingdoms classification is as follows: Munera, Protista, Mycota, Plantae, Animalia. The classification was based on cell complexity, prokaryotic/eukaryotic Munera with prokaryotes. Cell organization, unicellular/multicellular Protista with unicellular eukaryotes. Mode of nutrition, autotrophic/heterotrophic Mycota, Plantae, and Animalia. Phylogenetic relationship. Reproduction. The 5 kingdoms. Munera, it includes all the prokaryotes, eubacteria, actinomycetes, blue, green algae, mycoplasma, and eukaryote, virus. Protista, it includes all the unicellular eukaryotes, protozoans, dinoflagellates, diatoms, euglenoids, slime molds. Mycota, it includes true fungi. Plantae, it includes multicellular eukaryotic plants, algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, and angiosperm. Animalia, it includes multicellular animals. Kingdom Munera. All organisms present in this kingdom are prokaryotes. It includes bacteria as well as blue-green algae. They can be present in extreme habitats, such as hot springs, deserts, snow as well as deep oceans. Certain organisms act as parasites also. Characteristics of Munera. Most primitive organisms. Nucleus is not well developed. DNA is suspended in the cytoplasm known as nucleoid. Cell wall is present. They can be autotrophs, heterotrophs, and parasites. They can live in symbiotic relationship and commensalism. Respiration can be aerobic as well as anaerobic. Movement is through flagella. Circulation of nutrients, gases occurs via diffusion. Shapes of bacteria. They are divided into 2 based on structure and habitat. 1. Archaebacteria. 2. Eubacteria. 1. Archaebacteria. They can be halophils, survive in high salt concentration, thermocidophiles, hot springs, and methanogens, marshy areas. The structure of their cell wall is different from that of other members of Munera. Methanogens are found in the gut of some ruminants such as buffaloes and cows. They also help in the production of biogas. 2. Eubacteria. They are referred as true bacteria. They are characterized by the presence of motile flagellum and a rigid cell wall. It includes cyanobacteria. Blue-green algae. It is similar to plants in having chlorophyll, so known as photosynthetic autotrophs. Based on mode of nutrition, bacteria are of 2 types. 1. Autotrophic. Photosynthetic. Chemosynthetic. 2. Heterotrophic. Saprophytic. Parasitic. 1. Photosynthetic autotrophs. These include cyanobacteria/blue-green algae. They have chlorophylls and carotenoids. They are unicellular, filamentous, or colonial. And body is covered by a mucilaginous sheath. Nostoc and Anabina possess specialized structures, heterocysts, where they can fix atmospheric nitrogen. 2. Chemosynthetic autotrophs. They play an important role in recycling the nutrients. They carry out oxidation of various inorganic substances, such as ammonia, nitrates and nitrites for ATP production, e.g. nitrosamonas ammonia oxidation. 3. Heterotrophic bacteria. They are abundant in nature and act as a decomposer of organic materials. They are used for various purposes such as nitrogen fixing, curd production and antibiotics production. Parasitic need host, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Clostridium tetani. Saprophytic dead organic materials, Lactobacillus, E. coli. Pathogenic, Vibrio cholerae, non-pathogenic, E. coli. Kingdom Protista. Single-celled eukaryotes are kept under Protista. Mostly are aquatic in nature. A photosynthetic protist is a link between plants and animals. For example, algae serves as primary producers in aquatic ecosystem. 1. Protozoan. 2. Slime molds. 3. Crisophytes. 4. Dinoflagellates. 5. Euglenoids. Characteristics of Protista. They are unicellular, eukaryotic organisms. They contain a well-defined nucleus and other membrane-bound cell organelles. They include: they move by cilia and flagella. Respiration is aerobic as well as anaerobic. Reproduction is sexual as well as asexual. 1. Crisophytes. It includes diatoms and golden algae. Their habitat can be freshwater water as well as marine. Mostly they are photosynthetic. Their cell wall is impregnated with silica. They are the major producers in the oceans. Most of them are unicellular, flagellates. But some are amoeboid. Golden algae freshwater fucoxanthin. 2. Dinoflagellates. They are marine, photosynthetic organisms. They can be in yellow, brown, red, blue color. Phycocyanin/fucoxanthin. The color is due to the presence of different pigments on the cells of the dinoflagellates. The cell wall is impregnated with cellulose. They usually have 2 flagella. 3. Euglenoids. They are freshwater organisms present in stagnant water. They have a protein-rich layer known as pellicle. They have 1 long and 1 short flagella. They can be autotrophic in presence of sunlight as well as heterotrophic in absence of sunlight. 4. Example, Euglena. Most of the euglenoids possess chloroplasts so they can synthesize their own food. The reserve food material found is paramylin, carbohydrate. 4. Slime molds. They are saprophytic in nature. Under favorable conditions, they form aggregates known as plasmodium. During unfavorable condition, they form fruiting bodies with spores. They have true cell walls. They are extremely resistant to adverse conditions. 5. Protozoans. They are heterotrophs. They can live as parasites or as predators. There are 4 major types of protozoans found. 1. Amoeboid protozoans. Live in fresh water, moist soil, or sea water. They possess pseudopodia for engulfing the food particles, such as amoeba. 2. Flagellated protozoans. Can be free-living or parasitic. Members of this group are responsible for different parasitic diseases. For example, trypanosoma causes sleeping sickness. Ciliated protozoans possess thousands of cilia. The movement of cilia helps in propelling forward or backward. It also helps in obtaining food from the outside. For example, Paramecium. Sporozoans form reproductive cells known as spores. They are parasitic and pathogenic in nature. For example, Plasmodium species causes malaria. The reproduction can be sexual as well as asexual. Kingdom fungi. They are heterotrophic organisms. Some acts on dead organic matter and hence are known as saprophytes. Some acts on living organisms known as parasites. They can live in mutual relationship with each other. Such fungi are known as symbionts. For example, lichens. Lichens are symbiotic association between the fungi and the roots of the higher plants. Properties of fungi. Multicellular eukaryotes without chlorophyll. Reproduction in fungi occurs by budding, fragmentation, and fission. Asexual reproduction occurs by means of spores known as kinidiospores, zoospores, or sporangiospores. Sexual reproduction occurs by oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores. The vegetative part of the fungus is known as mycelium. It is composed of network of hyphae. Sexual reproduction. There are 3 steps of sexual cycle in fungi. 1. Fusion of the protoplasm is known as plasmogamy. 2. Fusion of nuclei is known as karyogamy, results zygote formation. 3. Meiosis of zygote results in the formation of the spores. The nuclei inside the fungal hyphae are haploid, unlike the diploid cells of most plants and animals. Therefore, fungi don't have to undergo meiosis before fertilization. Fungi reproduce by conjugation, a fusion of nuclei analogous to conjugation in bacteria and certain types of algae. Kingdom fungi is divided into different classes. Phycomycetes, lower fungi. Asexual reproduction occurs by motile zoospores and non-motile aplanospores. Spores are produced in sporangium. Fusion of gametes form zygospore. Mycelium is synocytic, multiple nucleus, and multicellular. E.g. Mucor, albugo. Ascomycetes, sac fungi. They can be saprophytic, decomposers as well as parasitic. Asexual reproduction occurs by conidia. Sexual reproduction occurs by ascospores. Branched, septate mycelium is found in Ascomycetes' internal cross walls. E.g. Penicillium, Aspergillus, Claviceps, etc. Basidiomycetes, club fungi. Vegetative reproduction occurs by fragmentation. No sex organs are found, but plasmogamy occurs between 2 vegetative or somatic cells. The resultant structure is known as basidium. Basidium undergo karyogamy and meiosis to form 4 basidiospores. E.g. agaricus, mushrooms, Ustaligo, smut, etc. Deuteromycetes. Commonly known as imperfect fungi as they lack sexual reproduction. The asexual reproduction occurs by conidia. Mycelium is septate and branched. E.g. Alternaria, Trichoderma etc. Zygomycetes, conjugation fungi. Are primitive group of fungi. Asexual reproduction occurs by non-motile sporangiospores. A group of phycomycetes. E.g. Rhizopus. Kingdom Plantae. It includes all photosynthetic, multicellular, eukaryotic plants. Characteristics of members of Plantae. Mostly they are eukaryotic in nature. The main pigment present is chlorophyll. Photosynthesis serves as source of energy. Reproduction can be sexual as well as asexual. Vascular tissues xylem and phloem. Cells are surrounded by cell wall and contain cellulose. Reserve food is starch in green algae, Floridian starch in red algae and laminarian in brown algae. Growth occurs due to the presence of definite growing points or cells, are called meristems. Cell organelles, mitochondria, cell wall, Golgi apparatus, chloroplasts, ribosomes, peroxisomes, nucleus, are vacuoles, amylopastes. August Wilhelm Eichler, 1883, divided plant kingdom into two subkingdoms mainly on the basis of presence or absence of seeds. Cryptogamy are lower plants in which sex organs are hidden and seeds and flowers are absent. It includes thallophytes, bryophytes, pteridophytes. Phanerogamy are higher plants in which sex organs are evident, seeds present. It includes gymnosperms and angiosperms. Life cycle of plants has two distinct phases, the diploid sporophytic and the haploid gametophytic. These features vary among different groups in plants. This phenomenon is called alternation of generation. Kingdom Animalia. They are heterotrophic, eukaryotic organisms. Characteristics. They are multicellular organisms. Bilaterally symmetrical. No cell wall. No chloroplasts. Modal, possess more developed sense organs. They have well-developed organ system, skeleton system, circulatory system, respiratory system, locomotory organs, membrane-bound cell organelles with true nucleus present. Respiration occurs by gills, lungs, skin, etc. Circulation occurs via blood vessels, and heart. Reproduction occurs by the formation of the haploid gametes. The fusion of gametes give rise to a new diploid organism. Chordates are animals with notochord, dorsal tubular nerve cord, paired pharyngeal gill slits. Non-chordates are animals without a notochord. Viruses. No definite shape. Infectious agents that are active only inside the host organism. They can infect bacteria, plants, animals, etc. Viruses that infect bacteria are known as bacteriophages. The genetic material in viruses can be DNA or RNA. They multiply inside the host cell. They exist in a crystalline form outside the host cell. The protein coat called a capsid made of small subunits called capsomers protects the nucleic acid, possess antigenic properties/toxins. Viruses cause diseases like mumps, smallpox, herpes, and influenza. AIDS in humans is also caused by HIV. In plants, the symptoms can be mosaic formation, tobacco mosaic virus, leaf rolling and curling, yellowing and vein clearing, dwarfing and stunted growth. Viruses that infect plants have single-stranded RNA. Bacteriophages, viruses infecting bacteria have double-stranded DNA. Viroids. Small infectious agents that contain single-stranded RNA. The main difference between the viruses and viroids is that viroids are extremely small in size as compared to viruses. They consist of nucleic acid but lack a protein coat. The RNA of the viroid was of low molecular weight. Diener in 1971 discovered viroids as a causative agent of potato spindle tuber disease. They cause persistent infection, slow release. Prions. They contain abnormally folded proteins and have a size similar to viruses. They can change the shape of normal proteins by transmitting their misfolded proteins. They cause many neurodegenerative diseases, e.g. bovine spongiform encephalopathy, BSE, in cattle and Cr. Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease in humans. Lichens. Symbionts between algae and fungi. Algae synthesizes food which provides nourishment to fungi, and in turn fungi provides shelter to algae. The algal component is known as phycobiont and fungal component as mycobiont. Lichens reproduce both by asexual and sexual methods. Lichens are very sensitive to SO2 or NO2 and grow only in SO2-free atmosphere. Biological indicators can be used to detect air pollution. Thanks for watching.